31M. Used to think happiness was something loud. Big moments, clear wins, obvious signs that you were doing life right. For a long time, I waited for that kind of happiness to show up and announce itself. Instead, it arrived quietly. For most of my adult life, I felt like I was always preparing to be happy later. Later, when things were more stable. Later, when I felt more confident. Later, when I had checked enough boxes to finally deserve it. I lived in that future version of myself for years, constantly postponing contentment. On the surface, my life looked fine. I had routines, responsibilities, and plans that made sense on paper. I did what I was supposed to do. I woke up, worked, came home, and distracted myself until it was time to sleep. Friends would ask how things were going, and I would say I was good, because technically, I was. But there was always this quiet emptiness underneath. Not sadness exactly, just the absence of joy. I told myself that was just adulthood, that everyone felt like this and just did not talk about it. I met her during a phase where I had stopped expecting much from people. I was polite, friendly, but guarded. I did not go looking for anything meaningful. I had learned how to keep connections light and temporary, how to enjoy people without letting them in too deeply. What caught me off guard was how normal it all felt. There were no nerves, no overthinking every word, no urge to impress, just conversation that flowed without effort. We talked about small things at first. Daily frustrations, random thoughts, things we noticed but never said out loud. There was comfort in it, like talking to someone who already knew you. We started spending more time together without labeling it. Not because we were avoiding commitment, but because there was no rush. Being around her did not drain me. It did not make me anxious. It felt grounding, like my mind finally had somewhere to rest. As weeks passed, I noticed changes in myself before I noticed them in us. I slept better. I laughed more easily. I stopped filling every quiet moment with noise. I felt present in my own life again, instead of constantly escaping it. There was a day that stands out clearly. I had a rough morning. Nothing dramatic, just one of those days where everything feels heavier than it should. I was irritated for no clear reason and tired in a way that sleep does not fix. When we met later, she noticed immediately. She did not push for explanations. She did not tell me to cheer up or look on the bright side. She just listened. Let me talk at my own pace. Let me sit in the feeling without trying to rush me out of it. That simple act stayed with me. I realized how rare it was to feel seen without being analyzed. Supported without being corrected. With her, I did not feel like a project that needed improvement. I felt accepted as I was, while still encouraged to grow. At some point, the conversation turned toward the future. Not in a serious, intimidating way. Just curiosity. What we hoped for. What kind of lives we wanted to build. I noticed something surprising. I was not scared. In the past, those conversations made me uncomfortable. They felt like pressure, like expectations I might fail to meet. With her, they felt like possibility. Like imagining something instead of defending myself from it. I told her that. I told her how unfamiliar and comforting that feeling was. She smiled and said she felt the same. That was the moment I knew this was not just comfort. It was connection. We chose each other without dramatic declarations. No grand gestures. Just consistency. Showing up, communicating, making space for each other's bad days and good ones. Learning how to disagree without hurting each other. Life did not become perfect. We still had disagreements, still had stress, still had moments where things felt uncertain. But we faced them together. Calmly, honestly, without turning away or shutting down. Over time, I realized something important. Happiness is not always excitement. Sometimes it is peace. It is waking up without dread. It is sharing silence without discomfort. It is feeling safe enough to be fully yourself without fear of losing someone. I used to chase intensity, thinking it meant passion. What I found instead was something deeper. Stability, trust, a sense of home that had nothing to do with a place. Looking back, I am grateful for the years when nothing worked out. They taught me what I actually needed. They made me patient enough to recognize something real when it finally appeared. For the first time in my life, happiness does not feel fragile. It feels steady, and that makes all the difference.